Et puis on va se lancer sur Hindsight. Voilà, un petit jeu indé signé Annapurna, bien entendu. Gage de valeur sûre, hein, bien sûr, gage d'être un bon jeu. Alors, à voir, hein, on ne sait jamais finalement. Euh, Ok, donc voilà, on est directement en jeu, hein, donc c'est pour ça que je voulais lancer directement. Cliquez et faites glisser avec le bouton gauche de la souris pour faire pivoter la caméra. Ouais, mais je peux faire avec la souris aussi. Parce qu'après, enfin après, faut voir, parce que c'est un point and click, donc en vrai... Ah, effectivement. Ouais, en fait, la souris, je peux bouger le stick, mais je peux pas... Euh... Bien, alors, je connais pas grand-chose, honnêtement, hein, sur le jeu. Mis à part le fait voilà, que c'est un point and click, que c'est un tout petit jeu qui dure 2 heures, je crois.
I'm not sure where to start.
Pardon, j'ai pas mis.
It almost feels impossible. The past meets with the present, fighting for space.
En tout cas, la musique de début là, elle est
To be
magnifique.
heard, to be seen. A lifetime worth of memories. Remembered through my eyes.
Ok. Ouh là là, qu'il est laid le bidet là. Ouh là là. Ah, bonjour madame. Désolé d'être. C'est peut-être un petit peu trop intrusif. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut qu'on fasse? Ah, tiens. Oh, oh, c'est sympathique. Oh, j'aime beaucoup comment c'est fait.
Depending on where we're at in life, our perception of a memory changes.
Bon, j'espère que le son du jeu est bon pour vous. Oh. Marie. Donc Marie, c'est l'enfant. Très bien.
How do you know which version is the truth?
Mon Marie qui est plus belle maintenant que quand elle est née, parce que quand elle est née, bon, c'est pas contre elle, mais elle était dégueulasse. Oh. Alors, peindre avec l'enfant dans les bras, je suis pas sûr que ce soit une bonne idée. Ne serait-ce que parce que bon, l'odeur toxique de la peinture sur un gosse, bon, je suis pas sûr en vrai de vrai. Bon, après c'est peut-être que moi, hein, mais bon, pas sûr de, je suis pas sûr du move. Moi, je veux tout peindre, même s'il faut pas tout faire. Moi, je veux tout faire parce que je suis comme ça dans la vie. Je suis quelqu'un vachement, voilà. Bon, oh putain, j'ai oublié là. The Bee, ça s'est vu, ça s'est vu.
I used to think I knew exactly who you were. The idea of you captured perfectly in my mind.
Ok, donc nous, on joue la mère. On joue la mère. Et donc, on retrace la vie par rapport à notre gosse. Notre fille, du coup, Marie.
I told myself you had your own ways of showing you cared. Ways I didn't understand until I was much older.
L'impression
Despite our best
d'être
efforts,
dans un...
life is unpredictable.
D'être dans un film interactif plus qu'un jeu, mais...
Doesn't care who you are, what you're doing, or what you have planned.
Mais
Things
l'ambiance
begin,
est
and
folle.
sometimes, when you least expect it, things end.
La musique, le gameplay... Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Notre enfant est mort? C'est ça? Elle a dit les choses cessent.
It's hard not to think about how time has changed the memory of you. How it will continue to change, to shift, until I'm left with a version I've created in my head.
Hindsight. Qui veut dire recul en anglais. Ok. De nature morte. Ok. C'était quoi le 1? Alors on va où? Je sais pas. Mais on y va en tout cas. Mais du coup, on est où là? On est chez notre fille?
Everything still looks the same. I can't tell if that's comforting or not. I don't like looking at the front porch and not seeing you there.
J'arrive pas bien à savoir, notre fille est décédée ou pas? C'est moi qui suis beaucoup trop
You
dramatique
came
ou...
here to relax, to catch your breath, to be at peace. Maybe if I stay a little longer, I'll feel it too.
Ok, donc là on a des souvenirs de notre fille.
We all went hiking sometimes.
C'est papa ça?
You packed the lunch.
Ouais.
Dad mapped the trail. I was in charge of pointing out all the good rocks and trees. But I wanted to wander and see where the trees took me.
Ah mais non, on joue la fille alors. On joue la fille et c'est notre mère qui est décédée. Ce qui fait plus sens. Ou peut-être que personne n'est décédé. Faut que j'arrête de penser qu'il y a des gens qui sont morts.
I can see why you liked being outside. Sitting here, listening to the branches dance against the breeze. The smell of coffee brewing. Dad usually brought you a cup.
Vraiment, c'est pas du tout le mood du jeu. Ça me fait rire du coup. Coucou Tétine. C'est toujours le mood. D'accord, pardon. Je suis désolé, vraiment, je m'excuse. T'as raison. C'est toujours le mood du prout.
The outdoors fed my curiosity. I called out shapes I saw in the clouds. I followed ants back to their home. I pulled up weeds thinking they were flowers and made crowns.
Comment tu vas? Quoi? Qu'est-ce qu'il faut que je fasse là? Le foutre dans la bouche? Je comprends pas. Je suis en train de créer des crises d'épilepsie à des gens là. C'est juste... c'est le but du jeu, c'est ça? Ah, ok. Ça va et toi? Bah ça va tranquillement, écoute.
Do we remember things differently?
Ça va tranquillement là. Je suis content de revenir là dans les jeux indés. Bon, on revient gentiment, hein, puisque là on est sur un point and click. Exactement le
Story
jeu...
did your memories tell?
Le genre de jeu, je pense, que tu ne pourrais pas faire. Parce que c'est du coup extrêmement narratif et lent. J'imagine. Détestable, pas assez de baston. Bah, je comprends. Ça manque d'un Kratos qui arrive et qui pète la tente, par exemple. Je comprends tout à fait. Oui, non, mais c'est tout à fait compréhensible. Regarde. Mais là, du coup, on retrace les souvenirs d'une famille, notamment de la fille, Marie. Et c'est plutôt... en fait, c'est chouette pour l'instant, parce que c'est vachement... je trouve que l'atmosphère est vachement prenante avec la musique, les dialogues. Et je trouve le gameplay sympathique, le fait de rentrer dans les objets par rapport aux souvenirs et tout. Après, j'avoue que je ne me suis pas informé plus que ça sur le jeu. Je sais juste que c'est un jeu qui me tentait, notamment parce que c'est un jeu Annapurna.
This yard holds a lot of memories. Watching you pull weeds, spraying grass with the hose. I'd beg you to splash me with water during the summer and you'd sigh real big. But you would.
Et pour l'instant, j'essaie de savoir, parce qu'au début, je pensais qu'on jouait la mère et que notre fille était décédée. Et je crois que c'est le contraire. On joue la fille, enfin du moins on retrace les souvenirs de la fille. Et je crois que notre mère est décédée. Ce qui fait plus sens du fait qu'elle serait morte de vieillesse ou de quelque chose comme ça, quoi. Ou alors personne n'est mort et c'est moi qui depuis le début pense que des gens sont morts alors que pas du tout. Peut-être qu'on joue la fille et qu'on est décédé. Ah, c'est... Oui, tu vas savoir en fait. Et là, il la lâche, elle se prend le poteau et bam, la nuque se brise. D'où le décès, effectivement. Tu vois, je trouve ça super sympa de la manière dont c'est fait, le gameplay. On a un souvenir et puis du coup, hop, ça nous retrace tout le truc à travers le souvenir. Enfin, je trouve ça très bien fait. Ça casse pas trois pattes à un canard, mais je trouve ça vachement intéressant. Ah, ok. Ah, pour faire avancer le temps. Eh ben, j'ai fait. Mais là, ça va nous donner la gerbe. Excusez-moi, mais... Ah, bah voilà.
The big oak tree is where I thrived. I climbed it so many times, my knees were always scratched up.
C'est très chill, hein, on va pas se mentir. Il va s'endormir devant le stream.
And then one day, I fell. I wasn't hurt, just scared. I ran to you for comfort, crying. You frowned and told me it was my fault for climbing too high. You watched me carefully for the next few days. Had Dad cut down weak branches. The restaurant called. It's easy to forget that the world keeps moving. Cleaning out the house shouldn't take long. How did I lose touch with what was important? How did you?
Donc on a déménagé, c'est ça? Mais pourquoi est-ce qu'on a déménagé?
I ask as if you'd have the answer. I'll never know. How do you choose what's most important?
Ah! Eh ben moi je choisis ça. Parce que c'était notre vélo. On va pas foutre une truelle ou une feuille dans notre valise, non? Excusez-moi, mais... Trois dans les lignes.
It all looks untouched, but I feel so different. Like a stranger that doesn't belong. Shoes off, slippers on. But I'd always forget. It was the first thing you'd ask me to do when we came home. Like a ritual meant to be followed without question. Even now, I find it hard to remember.
Hop! On a enfilé les charentaises. In nomine Patri et
Was it
Spiritus
calming? The
Sancti.
ritual of it all? Every week, like clockwork, you had us dressed and on time.
J'ai oublié le fils.
You had the piano since before I was born. You taught yourself to play as a kid, but fell out of it with age. When I started showing interest, you began to give me lessons.
Alors? Non. Je-
it became hard to separate your wants from my own.
Alors, c'est qui
My
fait
hobbies and yours.
l'adaptation de la lettre à Élise? Pourquoi elle m'engueule, la madré? Parce que j'ai mal joué? Oula! Ah. T'as qu'à mieux faire, toi, si tu y arrives. Ah. Ah, Zeb, le Contaras. Bah. Ah, mais il y en a un autre. Suis-je bête, hein? Oh, un canasson!
I didn't even know what I wanted. It was safer to listen.
Les musiques sont magnifiques.
How do you know what to keep? What to get rid of? There are some things I can't let go. You tried to teach me about my culture from an early age. And sometimes it meant skipping out on time with friends.
Ah, donc on est japonaise?
The language you spoke. They were parts of you that you felt needed to be passed on.
Ben oui, mais je ne parle pas japonais, moi, donc comment veux-tu, comment veux-tu? Ça ressemble à une fenêtre, ça. Non? Très bien.
We had color-coded dishes. Dad's rice bowl was blue, yours was pink, mine was yellow. You said I wasn't allowed up from the table until I learned how to use chopsticks.
C'est compliqué d'utiliser les baguettes, hein. Moi, je sais que j'y arrive pas. Après, je suis une merde, mais...
Workbooks were left unopened, and any attempt to speak in your native tongue was met by English. You tried so hard, and I didn't budge.
I tried so hard, got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Things had to be perfect. Unlike people, glass can be polished, spaces can be controlled the way we like.
Très bien. On les s'abonne ou comment ça se passe? Ah oui. Très bien, on les s'abonne.
Eventually, we stopped speaking Japanese in the house. It didn't bother me much when I was young. I never considered what that loss meant to you.
La conque.
I don't remember much from that day. Maybe that's on purpose.
Il est en train de décéder là.
I was pulled to shore, coughing, crying. Dad called for a lifeguard. You told me I should have listened.
C'est vrai que l'éducation des
I
Japonais
told myself
est
that
assez
if I
stricte
stayed in line, I'd be safe.
dans ce qu'on en sait.
I could control my own actions, my
Pas tous
behaviors.
bien sûr, mais
Things would be okay. For years and years, I've listened. Settled into what you tried to teach me. It became rhythmic, comforting.
Ah, bah faudrait savoir. Hein.
Back straight, arms taut, eyes straight ahead. There's comfort in safety, in routine. Relax your shoulders. Smile. Stop tapping your foot. The gift was thoughtful. It showed how proud you two were, and it eased my nerves about performing.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
I knew work kept you busy. I tried not to expect anything.
Un livre de partition, c'est ça?
The chances were slim, but I found myself hoping, desperate for you to show. But eventually, I had to go on without you. How could you not make the time? I don't know. I never asked. Maybe some things are better left alone. Why did I come here? There's so much I've forgotten, all for good reason. I'm here now. I made the time. I had to. There was no one else. If I didn't come here to sort through your things and pack up your life, who would?
Ah, et là, je dois rechoisir le plus important.
I've only got so much space.
Eh ben, tu veux pas... Ah.
You liked documenting holidays and sending pictures back home. We all dressed nicely, posed with our shoulders back. If Dad tried pulling a face, you'd hit him gently and we'd start again. Of all my memories with Dad, listening to music on the front porch has to be my favorite. I think that's where I got my good taste in music. He even let me try a sip of beer when I was still a kid. "Don't tell your mother," he'd say.
Mais pourquoi est-ce que là ça veut pas me... ça veut pas rentrer là? You pushed me to get good grades because you knew I was smart. But in my mind, I never knew if I was performing up to your standards. I think that almost made it worse. I wanted a reaction. I wanted your explicit approval. I was desperate for praise. If you didn't tell me you were proud, it meant there wasn't anything to celebrate. I remember watching those big monster movies with him as a kid. I was probably too young, but Dad was really into them. I think that's where my fear of moths came from. Mhm.
You brought this back for me after a work trip. You said I would fill one eye in now, set a goal, and fill in the other after I completed it. At the time, it made sense to focus on college.
Je sais pas encore pourquoi est-ce qu'on peut pas aller dans la théière, mais bon.
Dad was pretty frugal. I guess it was a trait you both shared. He said he could build a playset instead of buying one. I was his helper. I think I did more damage than anything else, but I brought him lemonade, and that seemed to make up for it.
Ah, ok, c'est bon. On a réparé la théière.
Dad always had us sit together whenever you weren't working late. It was a nice routine, something to look forward to. I liked it when everyone was around. We fell into our roles. You cooked, I set the table, Dad did the dishes. Sometimes you'd be away at work for days at a time. Dad and I managed. When the frozen dinners and takeout got old, I started getting more adventurous in the kitchen. Eventually, I took over most of the kitchen duties. You didn't always have the time, and I was good at it when I wasn't making mistakes. Dad was always there to help fix them. We had plans to go to Japan before I went to college. I hadn't been back since I was a kid. I spent an entire summer there with my cousins. We caught beetles and watched fireworks and ate watermelon on the roof. It would be a break for everyone, especially you. A second to catch your breath and enjoy the moment. To rediscover what it meant to be carefree. Everyone was excited, but I had to get accepted first. No one in the family ever had the chance to go to college, so this was big for us. Things were falling into place. Then everything stopped.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est
And
passé?
suddenly I was 7 again. It was the start of summer. Dad and I were outside at night.
Notre
looking for
père est mort.
ghosts. He let me hold the flashlight in case he got scared. Maybe I would be a ghost hunter. And then I was 16. He drank beers on the front porch. The record player was loud enough for him to hear from out there. I sat and listened to him talk about the music. Sometimes we sat in silence and stared out at the sky. The pain in my chest hurt. How could I feel so much and so little at the same time? We didn't know what to do. We handled it in different ways. Things went back to normal. Routines started up again. I was angry. I wondered why you looked okay. I didn't know what to make of you. You were so stoic in the wake of his death, and it confused me. Where was the pain? Why was I going through it alone?
C'est compliqué là de choisir, mais je dirais peut-être la musique pour par rapport aux souvenirs avec notre père justement.
I still don't have it figured out. I'm stumbling through it, trying to understand. I know now that grief is constant and always changing.
Ouais, mais tu le sais maintenant et tu le savais pas à 16 ans, donc Isaac. 5. Entraîner vers le fond.
It was overwhelming. I was on autopilot, going through the motions. At some point, I hit a wall. I didn't understand what it was at the time, but I couldn't move past it.
La musique est si belle.
I knew education was important to you and Dad, but my heart wasn't in it. I was distracted, confused, angry. Not even a year went by before I dropped out. Time passed by while my body continued without me. I avoided your calls. I couldn't tell you I left school. It wasn't any of your business. The weight in my chest grew heavier. Every move was exhausting. When I try to remember this time in my life, it's like there's pieces missing, gaps where there shouldn't be.
Le jeu me donne tellement envie de chialer. C'est assez dingue, hein.
I found a dishwashing job a while after. I figured I needed something to do, something to focus my energy on. Anything was better than nothing. To my surprise, I liked it. It felt good knowing my work helped the kitchen. One day I was asked to step on the line because we were short-staffed. It didn't take long to realize I was good at it. Being in a completely new kitchen was freeing. I got to create my own identity, my own rules. Who was I, independent of you? Figuring out my place was equal parts exciting and confusing, a new challenge to be faced alone.
Ah. Bah, l'université, c'est pas vraiment un bon souvenir parce que du coup, on l'a abandonné. Ouais, on va plutôt mettre notre job. On s'est senti importante, donc c'est... Ça me paraît le mieux. 6. Mise en place.
I made so many good memories in this kitchen. Food was so fun when I was a kid, finding new flavors and textures, an adventure we took together. My excitement only grew as I got older. I began to explore the possibilities and found myself happy, wanting more.
Ouais, maintenant j'ai faim, moi. Vas-y.
It felt good, finding that fire again. It was missing for a long time.
Ça... Salary. On va écrire salaire. Allez. Ah non, faut qu'on écrive notre nom. Marie. Et Salil, Lisa. Je sais pas comment il s'appelle. Notre mère ou notre père, je sais pas.
You taught me how to hold a knife so I wouldn't cut myself. You gave me confidence in the kitchen. It became muscle memory, like second nature, almost as easy as breathing. There I was, 6 years old again, trying my best to help you without getting in your way. My first day of jumping on the line, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I practiced at home, put what you taught me to use. Still, it reminded me I wasn't bad at this.
Pardon.
I would get better fast.
Je vous ai probablement réveillé. Merde, j'ai pas regardé ce qu'il fallait faire. Bon. Voilà. Ah mais c'est super comme ça. Voilà.
I have this knowledge of our culture, of everything you taught me.
Hop, petit thé
To deal
matcha.
with it all. It's intimidating. Is this how you felt too, when you were teaching me? Were you worried about losing yourself? That no one would remember what your mother taught you?
D'ailleurs, thé matcha, c'est un pléonasme. On dit juste matcha. Parce que cha, ça veut dire thé.
You were very particular about the process of cooking. There wasn't room for creativity. A recipe had to be followed. The gyoza had to be folded a certain way.
Merde. Des bons gyoza là.
That mindset, that need for perfection, is what I retained. Keep a tidy workstation and kitchen, clean as you go. When I got older, you started working more. We spent less time cooking together. But I was determined to keep it up. Into my 20s, this drive for perfection became everything. It consumed me. It gave me a sense of control. After many late nights, being the last in the kitchen, that dedication took me to the top.
Ah, et on est devenu chef cuisinière. Nice. Oh putain.
As I opened each cabinet, clearing out the contents, everything started to hit me. My hard work paid off. I was the one giving orders, creating dishes, curating entire menus. I had control and creativity to do what I wanted. People started to notice. They came from everywhere. Critics started talking about us. The more we got noticed, the harder I worked. The rush was amazing. I was so busy. It left little time for you. Sometimes we'd grab lunch, but I thought that I needed to show you the result of all my hard work, to show you what I built for myself. That led to finding the right place to open my own restaurant, to be my own boss. And then, a call. None of it mattered anymore.
C'est la lumière qu'on emprunte.
I'm not sure I'm ready to go through your things. It doesn't feel right, intruding on your space like this. You worked a lot. At one point, it seemed like your job took over the life you built. Your work followed you home and never left. It became part of our family dynamic, creeping into weekends or late nights after dinner.
Ok.
Sometimes I'd still be awake when she came home late at night. I'd hear the door open and shut, and her quiet footsteps creep past my bedroom. What did you want out of it? The long hours, the hard work away from home. What did it give you? Maybe it was the routine. Each day was different, but there were always elements that could be controlled, especially at home. Even after Dad died, you stuck to this pattern. We talked about going to Japan together. It had been a long time since we'd gone back. It'd be different this time. We'd create new memories as adults. I can't believe you actually bought plane tickets. But I was scared of leaving my work behind. Everything would fall apart if I left. I tried to tell you, and you just nodded. Sometimes I'd forget holidays. It was late into the night before I'd call. If I called at all. I can't do it. The longer I'm here, the more I think about you. The what ifs, the things I can't change about us. I created an idea of the kind of person you were, but I never stopped to ask if that was you. Time didn't fail us. I did. I need to go. All at once, I saw my future laid out in front of me. I'd fly back to open the restaurant. I'd achieve everything I hoped to accomplish. Years would pass, and I'd be there, night after night.
Il est vraiment triste ce jeu. Envie de
I'd come
chialer.
home late one night and wonder how things could have been different. Nothing I've accomplished will matter in the end if I run away from the loss of you. It's not too late. Are these yours? How did I never know? What other parts of your life was I oblivious about? Who were you when I wasn't watching? When you were all alone? I wish I could have known you more as a person. It's hard to picture the leap you took to get here. One of the biggest decisions of your life. I bet it was exciting and terrifying. You set foot here and tried to find solid ground so I would have my footing when I ventured on my own. I didn't think you actually kept these. Why do we keep things from each other? The pride we felt, the love we held. I always thought you didn't care, but you did. I couldn't see it at the time. It was hard on you when I left. I was too absorbed in myself to notice. You used to wear this all the time. A gift from Dad, I think. You loved it. You wore it a lot, especially on business. You wanted me to have it after Dad died, but I didn't want it. It was too soon. I didn't want anything that reminded me of him. It took a long time to understand that it was your way of reaching out, of helping me keep a part of him. He tore you apart too, but you managed to hide it under the surface. You were trying to be strong. For both of us. It may be too late to make things right with you, but I need to finish this out. It's the least I can do.
Huit, les choses qu'on garde.
I've been running away from the things I can't control my entire life. Parts of my life feel like they've been frozen in time, waiting to be played over and over again in my mind. I'm still that little kid. The seagulls are still flying overhead. I can still taste the salt water in my mouth. I'm 13 again and upset you missed that night. You tried to explain yourself, but I wouldn't listen. I couldn't. I can still see myself on that bench, I felt everything and nothing all at once. I didn't know how to handle Dad being gone. I looked to you as my guide to grief, but you were stoic. It confused me, angered me, left a grudge. When I got news you were gone, it was like my body moved without me. I left the phone and went back to work like nothing had changed. I couldn't help but picture myself leaving. I wasn't ready to confront it. What does life look like when we come to terms with the past? How do I make that work? Maybe I'm not supposed to know. I decided to use those tickets. I'm hoping to get to know you better, who you were, where you came from. When I go back home, I'll have these pieces of my past waiting for me, reminders of the good and bad. But I'll also be carrying them with me, wherever I go, ingrained in my bones.
Waouh. Putain, c'était prenant, hein. Je suis désolé, j'ai pas beaucoup parlé. J'ai pas beaucoup animé, mais en même temps, là, pendant ce jeu, c'était compliqué de parler par-dessus et de trouver quoi dire tellement c'était vraiment prenant comme atmosphère, comme ambiance, comme histoire. C'est excellemment bien écrit, bien réalisé. Les musiques sont juste sublimes. Enfin, je veux dire, c'était excellent, quoi. C'était juste excellent, ce petit jeu. Vraiment, Annapurna, à chaque fois, des bombes. Des bombes qui nous pondent. Oh. On peut... On peut revenir dans les chapitres. J'imagine peut-être pour le 100%, peut-être qu'il y a des choses que j'ai pas regardées. Il y a peut-être certains souvenirs que j'ai loupés par rapport aux 8 chapitres. Voyons ça. J'ai eu 8 succès sur 10. Bon, c'est quoi ce que j'ai pas eu? Vous avez vu une étoile filante et vous avez appelé le nom d'une fleur sur le réfrigérateur. Ah, ah, on aurait pu écrire lys. D'accord. Ouais, bon, en vrai de vrai. En vrai de vrai, ça c'est quelque chose, on peut revenir dans le chapitre, hop, faire ça, voir les deux succès, et puis basta, hop, ça fait 100% du jeu, quoi. Mais, euh, mais ouais, au final, ben, j'ai mis un petit peu moins de 2 heures, on a mis 1h40 du coup, pour ce petit jeu indé. Je pense que je récupérerai les deux succès de mon côté, mais c'était franchement très très cool. Euh, c'était c'était vraiment, vraiment très beau, très très chouette. J'espère que ça vous aura plu aussi, ce petit jeu indé. Et, euh, et puis on se retrouve bien entendu pour de nouvelles aventures indépendantes.